They both lay beside each other for a half an hour without uttering a word. Wayne was staring ceiling with a smile and Taehyung was staring her with a lovely smile. He hesitantly wrapped his arm around her waist and she stared her shockingly, but her shocked face turned a smile when her eyes met with his. When he breathed and she raised her brow without uttering a word. "Are you sure we'll manage?" he asked sincerely, a frown made way on her face. "I mean, you will be okay." He stumbled as sign. "I am your wife. You should not hesitate before talking or touching me." She stared straight in her eyes. His eyes and cupped his face in her palm. "You have right on me. You can share things with me. You can even let your anger, frustration in front of me. But please don't hesitate like this," she whispered, and his eyes started beaming with a tear. He felt overwhelmed listening her word and enfolded her in a tight hug. "When you hesitate before talking, touching or doing anything to me," her voice cracked with a little and she responds the hug by hugging him more tightly. They parted away a little and he placed a tight peck on her lips, making her blush. He kissed her forehead, eyes, cheek and button of her nose, making her giggle. "Are you ready for our new life?" he asked, and she nodded positively before whispering a yes and picking his lips. Finally, it was time for his departure. Mr. and Mrs. Park tried to talk with Taehyung and Wyan to stay with them, but Taehyung denied and Wyan supported him, making her parents feel proud on their daughter. He drove toward outskirts. Wyan was curious to ask when they were going, but he decided to maintain silence. She stared his face and noticed the tension line on his forehead, doubt in his eyes about his future, worry evidence on his face, and she sighed. She too knew it will be difficult for them to start from the start when they don't even have enough money to even start a little business. But she believed him this much that she even denied the help her father was offering them. "Don't distract me," he said with a smile, and she squared her brow, listening. "Another nickname." "What I did?" she asked innocently, battling her eyelashes for looking more innocent. "You two know very well what you were doing." His smile continued, driving without giving her a glance. Sweat dripped down from his forehead because of tension as she licked her lower lip. "How handsome he is looking, even this face and sweaty state." Her heart fanned over him and started thumping wildly in her chest, making her moan in pain. He tore his gaze from road and stared at her simply. He noticed the dreamy look in her eyes and light spread on his face. He slowed down the car and cupped her cheek in his palm from the one hand and the other steering wheel from another. He bringing her face close to his and placed his lips on her before giving her a sweet and loving kiss, making her blush in the kiss. Wine lowered her eyes and bited her lower lip as soon as he freed her and focused back on the road. The thumping of her heartbeat increased more and more, and she finally decided to distract him. Instead of distracting him, she looked outside and window and went away by beauty of nature. The beautiful red roses grabbed her attention, and she was smitten by the beauty of the rose. Her eyes shine in pleasure and her heart clenched and unclad on the thought of her tongue be like rose. She want him to be tough and dangerous like rose thorn of the rose to the people who gave him pain, and she want him to innocent and pleasurable like rose flower to the one he loved. She wanted her tie to be like Rose. She was that much captured by the thought that she doesn't even realize when the car came to the halt and they were standing at front of a small but beautiful house. Taehyung shined with a tear as his childhood memory flashed in his mind. His hand searched for Hawaiian palm and he grabbed her palm lightly and beginning. She, out of thought, she stared the house with awe and her eyes shined pleasure when she imagined them spending their beautiful future in this beautiful house. She was startled when she felt his lips on the back of her palm. She doesn't know why, but she felt like she is seeing a different Taehyung, and Taehyung who is going to achieve what he wants, a mom she dreamed just a few minutes ago while watching the beautiful Rose. Her eyes were stuck on his face. She doesn't even realize when his lips landed on her and take her in a surprise kiss. He removed her seat belt and pulled her on his lap before kissing her more passionately and loving, and it doesn't look her any more time to realize that something is surely changed in a day. It's been 3 months since Taehyung moved in this late parents' house, so start their new life. He was working as the second day his new life, long forgotten about another thing, including his wife who just keep waiting for him in the night and fall asleep in sitting position in the living room like it's not for him, and also it was start to took him everything stable, the little but powerful and fast growing enterprise of his. I must say, Mr. Kim, you did a great in there. The new business partner shook hand with him and they both head toward his cabin for the further procedure. Thanks to Mr. Sen, I hope there isn't any more issue and doubt over this project. He responds in the business tone and took his place behind the desk and signed. Mr. Sen took his place as well. Not at all, Mr. Kim. I would love to be your partner in this project, and I believe this project going to give us a hug profit in return. He replied with a gentle smile. Taehyung pressed the intercom and his assistant entered wearing a tight white shirt which looked like it will be ripped apart from her breast, region a tight pencil skirt which made her back look more bulky and curvy, and it's really she passed the surely smile toward both Mr. Sen and well as his boss, but Taehyung was quick to ignore her. Paper, Lena, he asked, raising his brow, and Lena quickly passed a bunch of paper toward him. You may go now. Once he get the paper, he ordered his assistant to leave, and she did. They both read and agree with the cause and condition and finally signed the contract, shook hand and agreed with the share of 30% of profit Mr. Shin and 50% of profit of Taehyung. As usual, time flew away soon, and when Taehyung tore his gaze away from his laptop and looked toward the clock, guilt flashed in his eyes. His shoulders slumped in the regret. He quickly got up and headed out from his cabin and made his way through dark corridor of his office. His little and cozy. The number of employees the office is less compared to the need, and he isn't condition of afford the expense of a new employee as he is already a debit now. All in this, including the money he leaned from his few friends added and pressure on him stable his business as soon as possible and give them their money back before they banged in his life and asked for their share in his business. One eyes were fixed on the door entrance and she was waiting for her husband to show up, but the other day today too luck wasn't in her favor. It's been a past 12 and wasn't still show up, which used to he made her worry in initial days, but not now. She is used of her husband coming home late. They both hardly exchanged words and kisses in the past few of weeks. This is one of the things which doesn't help her more comfort herself. She is trying to be everything be a good wife should be, but the patience is finally running weak, but she still chooses to be silent because she can see the pressure and difficulty he is going through. She is witnessed the way he kept working his ass off for even a simple deal, which doesn't even give him half of the profit he deserved in a return. But still he didn't complain and let his self down, but choose to work more hard. As it was getting hard for her to keep her eyes open, her eyelid dropped and finally sleep took over her before she can control and keep herself awake for a few minutes. She fell deep slumber in her usual spot. Taehyung instantly dropped his briefcase and phone on the sofa before making his way back to the main door and locking it from inside. He does everything silently, not wanting to wake her up. His heart clenched seeing her pale face, and he is very well know the reason. He noticed her body, which is getting more lean in each passing month, and he sighed, knowing very well that he is the one who is responsible for all his. Remembered their initial days when they didn't even had enough money, have food both time in a day just because he refused to take favor from anyone. At the point he thought that his wife will be complain and leave his side like other, but she didn't.